And you would not believe how many rags and material comes into that plant. And I don't know, and I can say, I'm pretty sure to say that a lot of the rags comes into the plant from the jail, from the county jail. I mean, we get bed sheets, we get wrappers of bags of you know, like out of a vending machine, like potato chips bag, pickle bags, just the whole bag, you know what I mean? That the whole container comes into the plant. And well, so what's been happening for the last 2 years is that with the grinders, these grinders grind everything up, and they grind it very fine. So then it goes into the big old pump, and the pumps then pump all the water along with this material that's all ground up to the headworks. Now that at the headworks is where they put the screens, but the screens don't do a very good job because the material's ground up so fine it goes through the screens. So for the last couple years, I'm like, man, you know, we're not removing a lot of rags out of these screens, you know? I mean, we had dumpsters there, and like, you know, you look at the dumpster every day and there's no rags in the dumpster. It's not funny, really, but you're like, I'm like, oh, where's all these rags going? So anyway, what's been happening basically is these rags have been accumulating further down in the plant, in the reactor. And what happens is when these rags they're all cut up, and when they go into the reactor, they come together and they make these huge, what I call them, they look like mop heads. Okay, a mop head. They come together. They're all small, and all of a sudden now they go in this reactor, and the reactor just goes around and around, and they're in the process, and they collect and they turn into these huge balls. Well, I have a submersible pump, and the pump sucks up these balls of rags, and it destroys the impeller. And the impeller is 1/4-inch stainless steel. It's a 12-inch impeller. This impeller costs $3,000. We've had 2 of them now just absolutely disintegrate down in the tank. So I said to Lewis, I said, look, you know, he's like, man, this is not good. I said, I know it's not good because, you know, these impellers are expensive. So, you know, we talked to Calvin, and, you know, of course he doesn't want to admit that this is happening, but we talked to the Siemens people, and the first thing they said is, they said, well, when we told them we had grinders at the head of the plant, they like, you said, you have grinders at the head of the plant? What do you have that for? And I said, well, that's the way it was designed. So anyway, so Lewis and I thought, well, maybe if we put a cage around the pump, it's down in the water, this is 12 feet down in the water, this pump, that we could protect the impellers. So we tried that, and it worked great. And we had it in there for about a week, and we pulled the pump out, and it was so covered with rags that it looked like a rag Christmas tree. You couldn't even see the pump, okay? The pump was just, you couldn't see it. All it was a bunch of rags that have clinging to this cage that we fabricated. And it was a great looking cage and everything. So we, you know, my guys cleaned it off and everything like that, and we put it back down in the tank. We waited a week, and we pulled the pump out a week later, and sure enough, it's covered with these rags again. And I'm thinking, man, there must be a lot of rags in this tank, you know, because this pump is circulating the contents in this tank over and over and over. So it's capturing all these rags that have been going into this tank now for the last 2 years. I'm thinking, well, maybe if we keep doing this, they'll disappear. We'll finally get them out. So the next we put the pump back in, and a week later we pulled the pump, same thing. I mean, I'm talking so many rags that filled up a wheelbarrow that's that big. Okay, I mean that big, and we're pulling these rags. So I said, well, wait a minute, we can't be doing this in December and January because everything's going to be covered with ice soon. You know, I can't have the guys up there slipping and sliding and falling in the tank, pulling up through the rags off the pump. So we took the basket cage off the pump a couple of days ago, and we put it back in without it. And I'm hoping that we got enough rags out of the system to protect, so that maybe we can last till warmer weather and we can start this again. I don't know how else to get the rags out of the system. They're already in the system.
Could they go to a smaller mesh screen at the beginning of the process? Because
Yes.
that's basically, I don't know why the engineers didn't go for that first, because
That's exactly what needs to happen. And I sent Lewis actually a type of screen that would fit at the Big Elk pump station.
Oh.
And I sent the guy. I sent it's Infoco Degramont system.
At the Christmas present, you mean?
Yeah, I said if that could be my Christmas present this year, but anyway, I sent the company cuts and pictures of our headwork. I mean, the Big Elk pump station where the wastewater flow comes into the plant. You know, the setup, and gave them the dimensions of the channels and that type of thing.
Yeah.
And but that you're absolutely right. That's exactly.
I worked with DuPont for 20 years at filtration, and that's the first thing you look at is the size of the mesh screen. If it's going through, you change it, which is designed. It's designed to change to a smaller mesh, and then you can collect all your stuff from the beginning of the process. I don't know how the engineers missed that, but
Yeah, I told Calvin. I said you must have not taken wastewater 101. You know.
yeah,
He didn't like it.
I don't know which 101 or 102, but
It is something that you expect, and all plants are designed that way. And putting grinders there, you don't want to grind it up. The rags, you want to remove them. You want to take them out of the flow, and that's not what's happening.
then I would just ask them to go back and look at that and try to, because there's no sense in tearing up pumps after pump and not starting from the beginning and working the way through. But that's what I would suggest to you.
I agree. That's what we're going to do. You know, I hate to bring that on you, but it's okay. So let me share this thing with you about that. So I said to him I said, well, Calvin, why did you do that? Why did you put grinders at the Big Old pump station and not a bar screen? And he told me he couldn't get a screen at the Big Old because of the depth of, because the flow comes in, it's pretty deep, comes into the pumping station. It's probably about 12 feet down, you know. And I said, well, I don't think that's really a problem. But he said, and then the other thing he said is, I didn't want your pumps to, I had to do something because I didn't want your pumps to get clogged all the time. I said, well, honestly, Calvin, they get clogged all the time now.
Ken, I don't want to be disrespectful for you, but I'm going to be honest with you. I know we got to adjust to the meeting, what you're saying. I don't want to hear this whole story all night. But we do have some other
Okay,
people
well,
on
that's
the
really
agenda.
all I wanted to
I
tell
just
you.
want to do it in a polite way of saying, we
Yeah.
understand where you're going.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Got it fixed.
one more
Just get it
thing,
fixed.
next Wednesday we're having a Christmas lunch, and everyone's invited to come over at 11
Okay.
o'clock, so.
Thank
If I
you.
don't see you all, have a
Send
Merry
an email
Christmas.
to me, I'll forget.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Thank you, Ken.
I still say the same thing.
All right, I guess we have some presentations, certificates of recognitions, but I see some of the kids are here, but we'll go through with that, and if which ones are here, if they could stand and be recognized when we get to that. What we've done, the freshman seminar class of Elkton High School chose a project for their community service. The class chose helping the Boys and Girls Club to open their Elkton home here that we've got here, and they decided to make it into a haunted house and sell tickets to raise the money for the repairs needed to help get the house fixed up. They cleaned and decorated the house in the evenings and on the weekends, and they did a very good job. So we'd like to recognize all those kids that put the time and effort into making it a success that it was. What we have a lot of certificates, but each certificate reads the same, and it reads as, be it known that on behalf of the citizens of Elkton and the appreciation of your outstanding efforts to ensure a successful haunted house, raising $665 to benefit the Boys and Girls Club of Cecil County in Elkton, we hereby extend our official commendation for your extraordinary standing and performance as the citizens of our community and present this citation of special recognition. Giving under our hands and seal the town of Elkton this 15th day of December 2010, Mayor Fasona, Commissioner Charles H. Givens, Commissioner Charles E. Hicks, Commissioner Mary Jo Jablonski, and Commissioner Earl Piner. Commissioner Givens can read the names that were there that will be getting the certificates.
Unfortunately, and to forgo time, there were 21 students. Obviously, transportation is one reason why they're not here. However, there is one student that is here, and she is also with the advisor, who is Donna Murphy, who is an English teacher at Elkton High School. I would ask this time if you two would come forward and address the board, Donna, for whatever information you want to give, and also introduce the one participant. And when you leave, you can take the certificates and hand them to the students tomorrow. And the young lady with her, who Donna will introduce, is an A student, a straight A. So it's good to have her here.
It's my pleasure to introduce Sidra Mirza, and she is here on behalf of her classmates, to accept these very beautiful certificates, which she hasn't seen yet. But the certificates are in recognition of the very hard work the students did to raise the money for the haunted house. We were open from Wednesday until Saturday night. We worked 2 weekends getting it ready, and we worked after school cleaning it up for no more reward than pizza. And so I thank you very much for recognizing the students. It means a lot to them, and it means a lot to me too. Thank you so much.
And I would suggest giving Mr. Zimmerman an announcement tomorrow to let the students at Elkton High School, all 1,000, to let them realize that you all were honored tonight. I may not read all the names, but just the fact of what was honored that was bestowed upon you, if you will.
Okay, great. I'll do that.
Thanks.
Good suggestion. Okay, thank you.
Okay, yeah.
I would like to also thank the class and Mrs. Murphy for putting this. She put in a lot of hours on this to raise the money, and they really did clean the house. And the haunted house was fantastic. And since you are here, Miss Murphy, it happened that we do have several people from Singerly Fire Company here tonight who also helped to get us to have the haunted house here in Elkton with the fire truck there. Our code enforcer here also helped us to know what we needed to have in there to have the haunted house, and it went very smoothly because of everyone, and so thank you so much.
Thank you indeed for all the support we got from you too, Mary Jo. It was really, if I couldn't just call you on the spur of the moment and say, can I get a key now, we couldn't have made this work so well, so we thank you for your support too.
Thank you.
And everyone else's. Thank
Well,
you.
again, thank them all for the successful job that they did.
Thank you. I'll pass that on. Thank you.
And you can leave anytime you want, Ms. Murphy. You got a job to do tomorrow morning for all those kids.
Yes, sir. I'm on my way.
Okay, we have Singerly Fire Company. Donnie?
Maybe you be seated.
Sure may.
I'm Diane Hicks, President of Singerly Fire Company. With me tonight I have John Denver, Second Vice President, also other members of the department here tonight. We'd like to thank the Mayor and Commissioners for the opportunity to speak before you tonight on behalf of the Board of Directors, the officers and members of Singerly Fire Company. What we're here tonight to ask for is if the town would take into consideration of waiving some of our fees. As you're aware, we're in a major renovation and building project at our station there on Route 279. Unofficially, we met with the town in October of October of 08, and we now are just moving dirt this week in the last couple of days. It's been a long process. We're tickled to death to actually see something coming from this now.